Hello, everybody, and thank you for joining me here with GEG APAC weekend. Um, going to be giving you a session on Adobe Creative Cloud Express. Sorry about the mess up in the slide right here, um, but you're here for GEG APAC weekend. We've got lots and lots of stuff going on in multiple languages around the Asia Pacific region, which is like way cool, right? So I'm going to give you a session today. Oh, by the way, I'm going to get you a certificate at the end. I'll share those links with you, and I will share this slide deck with you once we kind of go through a few things. So be sure to get your certificate at the end of it. And anyway, let's kind of get started here. In fact, I'm going to kind of get out of here and then share this again. Just going to open it up here. Yeah, I can see our tabs going on here. All right, so this is a session on Adobe Creative Cloud Express where we're going to show you how every student, every teacher, everybody can be creative here. Um, but it seems to me my screen's not sharing here. Hold on a sec. See, I have my phone here, so I do want people to make comments and things like that. So let me just kind of get back into StreamYard here and let me kind of cancel what's going on because I can see that you can't really see what's going on here, right? Let me just take a minute. Kind of rushed the beginning of this one. Oh, that doesn't happen very often, does it? All right, so share screen. I'm going to go with my entire window, actually, everybody. So let me just hide that. And all right, here we go. So Adobe Spark has recently been changed to Adobe Creative Cloud Express, but basically it's the same thing with a new interface. It looks a little bit different, but it's still very user-friendly and intuitive. Even young students can use this, and this is completely free, by the way. There are some features that if you pay for it, you get largely with the graphics, side of Adobe Creative Cloud Express, but I do recommend that you get into this with your students. My students like it, especially because of the simplicity and because it's so simple. Students and teachers tend not to spend loads and loads of time trying to be a perfect director in the video aspect or designer when it comes to web pages and graphic designs. So a little bit about me. My name's Nate. I teach DP history and middle years program individuals and societies at Nagoya International School here in the middle of Japan. I did spend some time as an educational technology coach, and I still spend some time as a consultant on the side, but my primary thing is a teacher. And you will notice that the examples that I show you in here, they all come from my own classes, right? For the most part. I'm also an Adobe education leader as well. I love Adobe tools, and there's a lot of other cool stuff eventually that I'll be presenting when the opportunity arises. And at the bottom there, you can see my YouTube, Twitter accounts, as well as Social Studies Samurai, my website, and my training website. So if you like this slide deck, you can actually access it and use it in the future if you're giving any kind of training. So I'm not going to jump in. This is a little bit kind of behind in terms of naming, but there are three aspects of Adobe Spark that we're going to, Adobe Creative Cloud Express. I've got to get used to saying that. They've got websites, they've got graphics, and they have videos, and we're going to go through those today. Keep in mind, they do have a tablet, iPad, and smartphone app as well, and they're pretty easy to use. We're going to ignore that slide because we're going to go through all of them. I do want to make a couple of suggestions, when students are creating things, and it doesn't matter whether it's a video, graphic, or a website. Get them to think about ethics. They want to represent people and places and cultures and that kind of thing fairly, and in a way that doesn't promote stereotypes and things like that. When they create things too, have them really think about their audience and their purpose. My students in grade 9 recently did a media literacy video. And they did it in a way that it was a YouTube channel and they're a YouTuber. They thought about their audience, which is teenagers. Let's make these people smarter when it comes to using the media. Let's see, we've got, hey, see a couple of familiar faces there. How you guys doing, or how you people doing? Good to see you. Back into this again, a lot of text, a little bit of text. I recommend always getting research finished first before you create anything. It just makes the creative process go quicker. And of course, citing your work. Adobe is really good with automatically, if you use images in their tools and videos and things like that, they automatically get cited. But we encourage our students to always put citations in, especially when it's not their work. And again, being prepared, being consistent with fonts and themes and things like that. And we'll show you an example in a minute. Let's see, we mentioned copyright. All of the images that you're going to get from Adobe are copyright free. They're linked into Pixabay and Flickr and Wikimedia and things like that. Video, it's got a background music feature, and all of that stuff is actually free, copyright free as well. So if you use something outside of that, make sure that the students use royalty-free music and images and things like that, and be sure to cite it. So I'm going to give you a few examples of Adobe Spark Video. And if you have any questions or comments, I got my phone going here, all right? So please throw in any kind of questions or comments. All right. What I'm going to do, though, is share my tab here. So let me just jump out of this, because I want you to be able to hear the audio. And that means we have to change how we're going to do the share setting here. Share a Chrome tab. Actually going to wait on that just for a moment. Let me pull up just a couple sample videos, a few actually. I'm going to pause them as we go. Okay, just bear with me here. I don't deliberately, pull these up right away, because it really loads down your memory as you're preparing. All right, let me just pull up another one here. We're almost ready to go. Let's see. I pull up like a couple more actually. These all have audio, which is why I'm doing this. And okay, I'm not going to play all of these videos, by the way. Just these are samples for you for what you can do. Okay, now let me share my my screen here, and so that you can get the audio in there as well. Okay, Chrome tab. I'm gonna have to keep doing this. Let me start with something a student recently did on media literacy. Okay, and you should be able to see that. I'm just kind of double checking here. There we go. Beautiful.
Hey friends, it's me again, Lily, and welcome back to my channel, Media Madness. Today, I'll be telling you all about using the media in a safe and productive way. Sometimes getting research and information on the internet isn't as easy as it seems. But thanks to me, after watching this video, you'll know how to do it safely while getting the most credible and important data. The first thing I'm going to be talking to you guys about is media bias.
Okay, notice that transition was really, really smooth. That's something I want you to kind of note as well. And because she used a template in Creative Cloud, that means she's got that consistency. Now I'm going to show another one student did last year. Let me share this tab. This is why this has been a little bit funky here with StreamYard. Can't always share one tab to the next tab to the next tab. I don't know why that's happening, but anyway, that's fine. We're just going to kind of deal with it this way. All right, so here we go. Political cartoon.
Elites in other European countries.
This is a political cartoon evaluation, actually, right? So it's an analysis.
Countries did not want their people to do the same as France, so they tried to make it seem useless to revolt. This cartoon was drawn by James Gilray on December 21st, 1792, which was during the French Revolution. This cartoon uses the
Okay, and note, now I see the comments in here, and if you go to the schedule document at the bottom, I've got a link on where you can get this app, this tool. It actually looks kind of like this. I'm already logged in, but Adobe Creative Cloud Express. We'll get you linked up in a minute here. All right, so I'm gonna stop sharing that one. Now I'm gonna share my screen again, but I'm not gonna play the audio. You get the idea of kind of how these look. But I do want to share with you just a few other examples. Right, here's one for my Model United Nations Club. I took stock video that I created, and it was a PR in our club fair to recruit kids into our club. So note how it's really quick and slick, and yes, the app is free for students. I mentioned that earlier in the beginning, but please keep throwing out your questions there, folks. Questions are good. Here's another one I did to become an Adobe Creative Educator, which is this shirt right here, and I will show you how you can become a level 1 and level 2 Adobe Creative Educator later on. Okay, I think you get the idea, right? So what we're going to do is kind of walk through. All right, so in the slide deck here, you can see these examples. In fact, since you're waiting, I think I'm going to just put the slide deck um, in the chat right now. Let me copy that link. Let me just, I know this doesn't look pretty, everybody, but I'm just going to put slide deck and throw that in. I'm working on my own here, by the way, everybody, so bear with me, right? Okay, so this is called Adobe Creative Cloud Express, right? It's changed a bit, but it's very user-friendly. So what we're going to do is start with creating a video, and then we're going to create a YouTube thumbnail for that video. And then we're going to create, a web page. All right, so just kind of bear with me as we go through here. Come back to the video. I don't have a tutorial video on my YouTube channel just yet, but I will create one. But here I'm going to walk you through the main things you need to know. So this plus button up at the top, right? Underneath, it's got your home button. You've got a button for projects. If you decide, to create folders and that kind of thing, you can see here I've got, folders with certain classes kind of thing. MYP9, for example. All right, so here's some of the, signage, examples of signage I use in my class. You can create libraries and you can share them and that kind of thing. If you do click on the Projects tab, that takes you to all of your recent projects. Now, these ones, for example, don't have any place in particular at the moment, so I've got to go back and organize a little bit. And I click back on Home. And what I want to do is create a video. So this plus button up here is where you want to create stuff, videos, images, web pages, that kind of thing. This is where you need to go. Okay, so note here, if I go right down to the bottom where it says video, hey, got a few more people in there. Nice to see you. Hey, everybody, why don't you tell us where you're from, right? I got my phone going here. I'm curious, where are you watching from? What country are you in? What is it you do? If you have an idea with Adobe Creative Cloud Express, which used to be called Adobe Spark, where do you come from? How might you use this in your classes? And if you have examples, share them. Now, note that I clicked on the plus button, I chose video, and here I am. Now, I'm a history teacher, and I think Napoleon's just there's something funky about the guy, right? Whoops, something funky about spelling his name. What is going on with me here? Napoleon Bonaparte. Propaganda. I like doing this one here. I think Napoleon Bonaparte and his propaganda is very interesting. So I've given it a title, but that's not the title that's going to come up later. I'm going to have to add to it. And we've got people in Borneo, Sarawak. I've been to Kota Kinabalu. Absolutely beautiful, the island of Borneo. Great. People from Malaysia. I love it. I've been all over Malaysia. Penang, I've been to Georgetown, Kuala Lumpur, Malacca, and down to Kota Kinabalu. Love Malaysia. Great people, lovely food. Wicked cool culture as well. Now here, all right, just moving on, you've got these different potential templates you could use. I never use templates. I actually start from scratch, okay? Let me just fill up my water here, because of course I'm doing lots of chatting. My colleague Nick is from exotic Nagoya. I hope you had a great winter break, Nick. As we wait for Adobe to kind of load here. That was funny. Okay, great. Thank you, Rio. Okay, folks. All right, so now here we are into Adobe Spark Video. Now, what used to be Adobe Spark Video, now it's Creative Cloud Express. Yes, I'm going to recommend it to people. That's why I'm presenting on it. I'm not going to answer that right now. I'm in a presentation, people. Okay, so what we're going to do is we've got Napoleon Bonaparte, right? That's our topic. So what I'm going to do first is try to find an image. But before I do that, I do want to point out that in the top right, you're going to see your tabs up here. You've got themes. All right. I tend to use the Elevate theme. I like that. But if you just mouse over them, you're going to see the different, the different look and feel that each one has. I'm going to keep the same dark color here. So you can choose. You can create your own brand too, and it'll kind of save as a template. If you're creating on, say, something for Instagram, let's say you're doing like little quick Instagram stories, you can, create a square. I think I'm going to be doing that for my Social Studies Samurai page. But I'm sticking with widescreen for this. Now, music, you can toggle it off or on. Okay, if you want to have background music, I always do that, but I toggle it down really quickly and keep it kind of low. And let's see. I'm gonna choose. You can mouse over and give these a little bit of a listen if you want. Let's see. I'm not gonna spend too much time doing this. Let's go with let's see, just bringing change. Sorry. Okay. Now you might not hear that right now, but I'm just gonna slow that down. I'm gonna pause it, and that's the one that I'm gonna use. I'm gonna click on it, and now I know that it's there. You can add your own background music. You could go to the YouTube audio library and download copyright-free music. I do suggest you put in the citation for it, but then upload your own music. Remember, if you upload music on YouTube that is not copyright-free, the audio will cut out. So keep that in mind. All right. So I've got my music. I might have to adjust that a little bit later. That seems like a little bit loud. I've got my layout and my theme. Now I'm going to start with a full screen slide here. Because I want like Napoleon's face right in there. Now, note that you could add video or a photo. I'm just going to go with a photo, and then I'm going to add text. Now, I could upload a photo, and Rio says, is there any music? Yes, there is, right? The music's in the music tab here. You can't hear it well because I'm not, StreamYard isn't doing well with the sharing of the tab. I will show you in just a minute, though, what that does look like. All right, so going here again. I'm going to click my plus button in the top left, actually, and I want to add a photo. Now, here's the thing. I could upload a photo. I could take a photo of myself. We're not going to do that. Look at this hair. What's going on? Or you could find free photos, and that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go Napoleon Bonaparte. I'm going to click on that, and I actually know what I'm looking for. But you can scroll through here and go like, oh, what images? I mean, these are pretty famous images, right? Let's see. Try searching for a less specific word. Okay, well, I'm just going to take out Bonaparte then and see what happens. And let me scroll down. And now I get some more options because I've used a different word. Oh, this is the one that I like. I really like this one. All right, so Adolf, I guess this is automatically going to cite my work at the end, which is cool. So that's a cool image. And what I'm going to do is add some text in here. Just wait for it to load a little bit. All right. And I'm going to choose text. I'm going to go with all caps here. The prop. Oh, it's supposed to be all caps. Yeah, the propaganda of Bonaparte. Propaganda. I'm from Canada, not propaganda. Propaganda of Bonaparte. Let me just kind of minus that. Maybe I'll make it big. See what happens. Okay, now here's what I think is just really cool. All right, so I can click and drag and choose where to put it. That's nothing really special. In fact, you know what? I'm going to tap on that and make it a little bit smaller because I think it's a bit distracting, right? We've got Napoleon's face covered there. So I'm going to take that, put it a little bit more to the top, I guess. Okay, but now I want to add some audio to this. And what I like about Adobe, Adobe Creative Cloud Express is that when you when you add audio, you're supposed to put it in just little clips and phrases, just like 8 seconds, 10 seconds. When you have something longer to say, I'll explain how you can get over that in just a moment. All right, so here we go. First, I'm going to record. Yeah, let's do a recording real quick. Napoleon Bonaparte was a dictator of France and a master of propaganda. In this video, you'll learn why. Okay, now what you want to notice is that I click and I hold and then I talk. And honestly, like a little microphone with your earbuds like this is all you need. It's totally fine. Now, if you don't like what you recorded, all you have to do is click and record again. And one thing I didn't do here was wait a second in the beginning and a second at the end. I'm aiming for about 10 seconds. So wait a second at the beginning, wait a second at the end, and that way your audio doesn't get cut off, right? So here we go. I'm going to record this again. Napoleon Bonaparte was a dictator of France and a master of propaganda. In this video, you'll learn how. Okay, so that was about 8 seconds. I waited a moment. So now I'm going to give it a listen. Now, this will be a little bit hard for you to hear, but we'll show you how it sounds, the whole thing, in a moment. But if I click play, okay. So probably didn't hear that, but we will come back to it. We will come back to it, okay? But you can hear and listen as you go along. But what I want to do right now is add another slide, maybe 2 or 3, and then add audio to those. So here I've got my second slide. I'm just going to click photo. And this is the one that I'm going to use right here at Wiki Images. Now, I forgot that I want to change the layout. I don't want this image. Notice it's a landscape image. So I'm going to split the screen here and watch what happens. Boom. Now I've got my screen split. It's done for me. But I noticed that there's an issue with the image. So I want to change the size. I'm going to edit a little bit. So I'm going to click on that edit button, and I'm just going to hit the minus button here and bring it down. Yeah, that's exactly what we want. Maybe just a little bit more in there. There we go. Now it looks good. And now I'm going to add my text. The image is deceiving. All right, so this is a good way to kind of talk about misinformation and things like that. This is historical, but in fact, the image is really a painting. So let's be historically accurate. So now I'm going to add another layer of audio here. So let me just explain this. This painting by David is Napoleon going over the Alps, which he did, but he would have done it on a donkey, not a noble horse. Okay, I paused in the beginning, I paused in the end. And yes, Napoleon, he did go over the Alps, but probably on a donkey. Horses don't go over mountains. They can't. All right, let me add another thing here. Ooh, Napoleon, the French leader. Yes, the French dictator, I'll add. All right, so let's say I want to add another one. I'm going to add one more photo. This is the coronation of Josephine. Let's see. And yeah, it's right here. I'm going to add that, and I'm going to keep the layout as full screen here. But I am going to add some text to it. Let me just click that. Sometimes it takes a moment to load, of course. Okay, so coronations, propaganda, and whoa, let's see, I can spell, I just can't type. All right, there we go. And I'm going to take this and I'm going to put it up in the top again a little bit. Mind you, there is something I want to point out up here. Now, this I want to use more than once because I want to point out a number of different things in here. So all I'm going to do is go to my ellipse at the bottom here, and I'm going to choose duplicate. Now, note I've been planned, right? I'm planning. I know what I want to do with this thing. So I'm going to duplicate it 3 times, okay? And now I'm going to go to the first one, and I'm going to add the text. Let's see. Art students, oh, wonderful. Here's an example of how you can use art history in your classes, right? Art history is way cool. All right, so here we go. First, in the painting of Josephine's coronation, the Pope did not bless it. He was against the wedding, the coronation. And see, I messed up, so I'm going to do it again. The first piece of propaganda is that the Pope did not bless this coronation. He was against it, but his hand is raised to suggest that he did. Okay, so now I'm going to my next one. And now I'm going to talk about Napoleon's mother. This is good. We're talking about this lady right here. Secondly, Napoleon's mother wasn't even there. She had an argument. Whoa, something crazy went and happened there. Let's start that again. Secondly, Napoleon's mother in the balcony, she wasn't even there. Napoleon's mother had a fight with Napoleon the day before and said, I'm not going to this thing. All right, and we'll do one more. All right, love to see people supporting each other here. Hey, good to see you, Panna from India. Hope you're doing well. It's been a little while. Okay, and so let's see, one more. Yeah, I think we'll do this. And David even painted himself in the painting, and he wasn't there. There were a number of people that weren't here actually painted in the painting. Okay, so now is the moment of truth, folks. I'm going to stop sharing this, and then I'm going to go and share my screen with you so you can kind of see how it sounds with the audio. Excuse me, with the audio. So bear with me for a moment. I'm going to stop sharing, and I'm going to reshare again and put my Chrome tab in there, and we are doing Adobe Creative Cloud. Okay. All right, so now pay attention. We're gonna see if the audio kind of works. Now I can go back and just do it clip by clip just to hear it. Napoleon Bonaparte was a dictator of France and a master of propaganda. In this video, you'll learn how. Okay, that sounds good actually, right? Now I want to preview it and see how it sounds all together, right? It's going to stitch things together. There'll be a bit of a clip and a blip, but when you download it, that doesn't happen. Napoleon Bonaparte was a dictator of France and a master of propaganda. In this video, you'll learn how. This painting by David is Napoleon going over the Alps, which he did, but he would have done it on a donkey, not a noble horse. Okay. The first piece of propaganda is that the Pope did not bless this coronation. He was against it, but his hand is raised to suggest that he did. Secondly, Napoleon's mother in the balcony. Okay, so one point with this, you'll note that I can't actually point and highlight to certain things. So if I was to do this image in Adobe Spark, I would actually create the image maybe in Google Slides, and then I put circles around certain areas, right? Josephine, the painter David, who wasn't actually there, the Pope. There's a Muslim merchant who's back here, probably wouldn't have been allowed in at the time because of racism in France at the time. Now, you note here, though, all right, so if it sounds good, you just have to click on download or share, but you could also click on download or share right here. I do want to point out that with all these Adobe Creative Cloud things, you can collaborate with other people. You can't do it in real time, but you can do it with, whoa, I'm on caps lock there, but you can get other people to log in and make changes and things like that. So the idea of sharing, you just click on share. The first thing you want to do is publish it. Okay, you pick a category, kind of like, whatever, and then you create a link. Let's see, I'm going to go with education here. I create link, and it just takes a moment. Now keep in mind, this is a link that is in Adobe. Nice, I'm glad you like it. Now, it's going to create a link. It's going to take a moment, but this is going to be in Adobe. So this is not like on YouTube. It is not your MP3. Let's assume that the link has been created because it does take time. you'll note that you have to wait for this to render. So with the video, it does take a little bit of time. If you click on download, same idea. It's going to download the video and create an MP4 for you, which you can upload to YouTube and other stuff. But again, it does take a little bit of time. But just to let you know, it's pretty simple, pretty straightforward. I do want to note too on the share, you can send it to Google Drive. And with these tools too, you should be able to, especially with the other stuff, you can share in Google directly to Google Classroom, to Microsoft Teams and other tools. But for the sake of time, I'm going to jump out of this, and then we're going to look at Adobe, their web page feature, right? So we're going to shift gears just a little bit. Let me just kind of dry my throat. I'm trying to stick to 45 minutes here. We might go a little bit longer here if people are into it. But all right, so I'm going to click. Notice I clicked on the icon here, and it's brought me back to my home, my landing page, right? Now, what I want to do though is create a YouTube thumbnail, right? With this video. Let's say I'm taking this video, I want to create a YouTube thumbnail. Well, now note here, it's got options, right? You can create an Instagram story, an Instagram post, posters, flyers. These are all set up for you, right? They're templates, really. Now you could have a custom size if you want. If you click on view all, excuse me, wait for that to load. Then you can just kind of scroll through on the left here, all the different kind of, templates and things that they have. We're not going to do that though. I'm just going to click here on YouTube thumbnails. And I'm going to show you, let me show you actually if you choose to use a YouTube thumbnail from scratch. Now I'm just going to go back to this. Now you've seen where you can get the templates kind of thing, right? But what I'm going to do is just put in YouTube thumbnail dimensions, just to remind myself. All right, 1280 by 720. That's important, right? So I just Googled, the different dimensions. So I'm going to go with custom size and wait for that to load. It always takes a little bit of time. All right, and so you've got social post, print. You can click on these different things here. For example, landscape or social profile. Here you might say, okay, there's YouTube channel art, for example, or your Facebook banner. Whatever it is. Let's see. I'm going to go with custom though, and I'm going to go with 1280 by 780. I believe it was. Let me just 720 actually. So let me go back. So this is the exact size in pixels of a YouTube thumbnail, right? So I click on that, and so I'm going to work from scratch here. So here's a really quick way to make your YouTube thumbnails if you have a YouTube channel. But remember, you can create collages and graphics and all these other things. But for this, I want to just stick with my same theme, right? So on the side here, I've got different text, and you can search for photos and things like that. Just like in the video bit, for example, I'm going to start with a photo, right? And I'm going to search again, right? It says search Adobe stock. I can upload a photo if you want. I am going to do Napoleon. Click on that. Excuse me. Okay, and I'm going to actually look for, these are Adobe stock photos. So the little yellow crown there means you have to have an account, like not the free version, but the paid version. Right now, things have changed a little bit here. I'm going to click on upload photo. Sorry. Now, in the past, let me click on this again. You have been able to add photos that are copyright free from the net. Let me click on our backgrounds here. And usually with backgrounds, you're going to get gradients and things like that. Whoops. I'm just going to play around here and search for a few things. Yeah, we're not going to get that. Now, the photo feature has changed just a little bit. Let me click on my ellipse here. There we go. That's what we want. You can see Lightroom, Dropbox, Drive photos. You can pull things in from other places. I don't want Adobe stock photos though. What I do want to do is find photos from copyright-free sources, right? And let's see, it's giving me my topics here. So things have changed, by the way, since December. So obviously, I'm having a hard time finding where I want to go. There's featured free, but tell you what, I'm going to click on that, and then I'm going to click on Napoleon here. And so no, that's not allowing me as well. All right, so you know what I'm going to do? I'm actually going to download that photo because it's copyright free, and then I'm going to kind of upload it and put it in later. But for the sake of today, I'm just going to search. Now it's still not allowing me. Something funky is happening here a little bit, so I apologize, folks. All right, so what I'm going to do though is I'm going to find a copyright-free image real quick. That one that we had. Yeah, maybe I'll find a different one here actually. And I'm going to put my citation in as well. All right, let me come back here just for the sake of showing you this. I don't want to spend too much time jumping in. I will find out what's going on with that. But that's kind of strange. Usually you could just find copyright-free images right from there in Photos. And let me go back here. And I'm going to upload a photo. Just call 101 here. And this is kind of a cool image anyway. It's quite famous. Napoleon defeated after, I believe it was Waterloo. Let me tap on it, and I'm going to pull it up a little bit. Let me close this. And thank you, Adobe, for making changes and not giving me a chance to play around with it. All right, so notice I've got some bleed space around it, so that looks pretty good. I'm going to add some text. And there's different options for adding text here. So, you can scroll through and see like the different, text formats and things like that, and choose what kind of floats your boat. Let's see. I think I'm going to click on that one and kind of see how it looks. So I've chosen this, and you can modify colors and things like that. All right, this one, so it's gone in dark. So what I'm going to do is double click on it, and you can edit it completely as a group. I think I'm going to keep it as a group. That means that all these elements, there's a thing at the top and thing at the bottom here. It means they're all together. So I think I'm going to keep it like that. But let me click on it. Okay, and this is the one that I want right here. Let me just click on that again. And I think I am going to actually ungroup it, and that way I can kind of work with the layers a bit. So I'm going to double click on this one right here, and that it says Janet Briggs here. Well, I'm going to do two things. Whoops. I'm going to put Napoleon's name in there. Let me highlight that. All right, and I'm going to change the color. And here I just have to tap on that, and let me go to white because I think white's kind of appropriate in this moment. Okay, good. Now I'm going to click on another element. That's the bottom one here. Notice here I can just click on this, and I'm going to ungroup that as well. Sometimes these things put the groups together. So I'm going to choose the one at the bottom. And double click on it, and now I'm going to I don't want to replace that. It looks like it's an image. Oh no, I'm on the top image here. Hold on a sec. This is where I want to go. Note here, let me close this up. Note here, I'm using this to kind of navigate a little bit, right? I'm going to ungroup that, and I want to get the text in there. That's what I'm looking for. And I'm going to So you can see some of these elements can get a little bit confusing. Let me click on, that's not the one. There it is. Now I've got Outreach Manager. So what I want to do is the propaganda. Change that. And let me go down, maybe make a shape. I could make a shape if I want. Actually, let me let's see. That's got the propaganda in there. Let me just stick with the color. I think that's good. I am going to make the size of the text a little bit bigger. I'm going to click here, and let's see, it's 25. Let's make it like 30. And yeah, maybe I'll double click on that and make it 50. All right, that looks a little bit better, I think. Now I'm going to delete this top one here, and I can delete it right there if I want. And now I just got Napoleon, right? Are you still with me, folks? All right. I'm going to click on that and make it a bit bigger just by clicking and dragging. Yeah, look at that. That definitely looks a little bit better. And I've popped it right there in the middle. And I'm going to keep the propaganda just a little bit slow. I do want to point out here, though. All right, so if I want, I can add different effects. I can add a shadow to it. And the shadow, I can change the color. So I can make it kind of whitish or maybe dark, right? If I want, I can add a shape. So I could kind of change the shape of this. Let's say I want to put some kind of funky thing in there, right? Let me see how that looks. So you can play around with it and kind of, add filters and enhancements and things like that. So this one in particular doesn't look too bad. I'm going to, yeah, I think what I'm going to do now is actually share it with the world, right? So I click share, I click publish, and again, you get the QR code, but note here you've got Facebook, Twitter, Classroom, Teams, and that kind of thing. And if I want to download it, all I have to do, I recommend PNG. Click Start Download. You want to go with a solid color. If you want a transparent background, then you can do that. But a transparent background is going to pull out some, different things. But it's easy to make a transparent background. For this, I'm going to go with solid color. And I'm going to look and see how it looks here. Boom. All right, so that's pretty good, actually. It looks all right, a little bit better than I expected. I play around a little bit more. But hey, you've completed your first project, which is probably because now we're Creative Cloud Express kind of thing, right? Name change. Let me just explore home and go back. All right, that's a little bit weird because I have a whole pile of other projects in here. Now, start putting in the chat, folks. Are there any ideas that you have? Because now I'm going to show you the web page version. This is the last one. We're going to go through it quickly because we're trying to keep these to 45 minutes. All right, so I'm going to click my plus button again, and we're going to go down to where it says web page and click on that, and it'll take a moment to load. Now this one I'm going to do on, I'm not going to set up my brand. You might get a pop-up here, but this one we're going to call Majestic Kyoto. And my subtitle I'm going to call An Ancient City. So I recently went to Kyoto. I used these photos. They're all my own for this project I was doing. And I'm going to tell you later how you can do Adobe and National Geographic together. They've got free courses that are pretty cool. All right, so now one thing is when I make websites and things, I usually try to have my text ready so things go really fast. And you're going to see what I'm talking about with this. So the first thing that I want to do, let's see, I'm going to first change how I'm sharing my screen here. Note I have to keep going back and forth, back and forth. I'm going to share my entire screen because I want you to see this, right? I usually have my text ready to go and links and things like that before I start building things. All the research is done and that kind of stuff, right? So here it's Kyoto, an ancient city. Now notice here it's got a plus button, right? So I tap and I'm going to choose a photo that kind of represents Kyoto. Now you can find free photos if you click here. For example, Napoleon. Let's see if this is see, it wasn't working with the graphics, but it certainly is working here, right? So you can find free photos if you want. In this case, I'm going to upload my own. And again, you can get photos from different places and that kind of thing. So lesson learned, right? Adobe Creative Cloud Express for their images and graphics won't allow you to grab stuff from the net. Now, let me find where I have my stuff. I'm going to go with a really famous image here, a famous one that I took. But of course was shamelessly ripping off what other more talented photographers had done in the past. Let me just kind of go down here. Yeah, there's the one that I want, right? It's coming up, it's coming up. Yeah, that's it right there. I'm gonna enter that. And all right, Rio, yep, still here, wonderful. So I'm gonna wait for this to pop up, and I think that looks pretty good. I could kind of scroll with things around, but I'm gonna undo that. Okay, good. Now we want to start adding text. So what I'm going to do is I'm not going to start with Fushimi Inari actually, because then we're going to get the same colors in that. I'm going to start with Kiyomizu Dera, Kiyomizu Temple. And I'm going to put in text right there. And I'm going to come in and choose the text I've written here. Normally I'd have more text. Okay. That looks kind of boring, right? So what I'm going to do is click here, and I'm going to choose split layout, see what happens. Maybe glide show. Yeah, I'm going to go with glide show. Let me grab some photos. I'm going to upload some from Kiyomizu Dera. Let me just go here. I'm going to choose, bear with me here. I've got some pretty wild photos of Kiyomizu Dera here. Yeah. Want to make something that looks really impactful for you, but alrighty. We're getting there. There, wow, look at that. That's pretty cool, huh? So I'm going to choose that one, and I'm going to upload another one. You notice how I can upload a number of different files here because we're using what's called a glide show, right? I'll upload that one. Just for the sake of time, I'm going to upload a few of the simpler ones. There, that's pretty cool. Okay, I'll put a few in there. All right, so I've uploaded my 3 different images that I want to use. I'm going to click Save. Okay, now I've got that image that I want. And you notice here when I start to scroll, I get these little things on the side, right? So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to actually take these out. And right here, I think I'm going to put text. And I'm going to put Kiyomizu Dera. I'm going to double click, put it in the middle, make it a little bit bigger. Both of them, that is. Yeah, double click. And they're bolded. And let's see. Yeah, I'm going to use header 2, maybe header 1, just to make it a little bit bigger. Okay. And so now I'm going to start putting my text in here. So I'm going to go with my first little bit of text. Copy that. I'm going to put it here. Choose text. All right. Now, you see, if I want to put stuff above or below, I can do that. And let me just let me go down here because I think I have the text already here. Yeah, I'm gonna delete that, trash that one. This one I'm going to cut, and I'm gonna put it right here. Is that where I want it to go? No, I'm gonna put it right here. Boom. All right, so when I go to preview this, when I scroll, notice the action and the movement is all done really nicely for me, right? Now, let me show you a couple other things you can add as well. So for example, if I want to add some, a link to some kind of external site, yeah, still here, everybody. All right. So if I click my plus button right here, it gives me a button, a photo, text. I could put another photo in here. Let's see what that looks like. I want to upload a photo. So I have a photo in a photo, right? Let me, oh, that's kind of cool looking down the middle of the temple there. Let's see what happens. All right, so notice as you scroll through here, right, now we've got an image within the image, which I think is kind of cool. Now, let me hear, maybe I want to add a button and with a link, learn more here. So that's my text. I'm going to paste my link. I'm going to put it in the middle. Notice how, this is pretty straightforward, right? It's like very intuitive. Let me go back and add a video here. So you're not going to waste a lot of time with Adobe Creative Cloud trying to do this and trying to do that. It's their simple version of some really powerful other tools like Illustrator and Photoshop, Premiere Pro. It takes a long time to learn those. But with Creative Cloud Express, kids, teachers, really quick. Okay, so here I'm going to add a video. And all I have to do is put in the link, and I'm going to click save. And so now I've got my video in there, right? And so let's say now at the bottom, now I'm not going to, create a whole website here for you, but I want you to note that you could add a photo grid, which is going to have like a gallery, right? A split layout, which means text on one side and images on the other side. So we're not going to go through that because you'll be here forever. But again, the idea, if you click share, you want to publish it and then share the link, you choose a category and then, share that link, right? So if you click create link, notice because it's not a video, it's not going to take as much time. But this is what will happen when you create the video and share that link, by the way. It'll be a lot faster with a web page than it will be with a video. All you have to do is copy it. You got your embed code, classroom, Teams, and all that. I'm not going to do that right now. I do want to show you what it's going to look like. So let me click on present and point out that this could be used as a presentation. So, you could do this and you could just, whoops, now I started down below here. Let's go to the top. And I'm just clicking my arrows. And note here, it's actually a presentation now in my class. And I could mouse over, and these are active. Now, if you want to preview it, though, this is what it looks like as a website. Okay, let me just go back to the top here. So notice as I scroll through, it's really clean, it's really slick, it's really quite nice, right? So this is what used to be called Page, but this is the web page version of Adobe Creative Cloud Express. So let me just show you a couple more things because that kind of wraps up what we're doing here today. But I do want to show you not a couple of things, but a few more ideas for what you might do in your classroom. So for example, I create posters for our units in the class or my clubs, student learning skills, right? Appeal paragraph or how to find the main ideas, things like that, discussion etiquette, vocabulary. These are ones, I'm working on. This is my banner for my Google Classroom in my history class, which was made in Spark Post. YouTube thumbnails, for example. Things to tweet out on Instagram, for example. I've had students make graphics. We do a election campaign simulation. So, notice here, this is really nice, actually, the circular text, easy to do. Again, posters for my classroom. This was an example of an awareness campaign simulation that we did. Student graphics. Okay, now we get to this where if you click on this, you're going to learn how to be an Adobe Creative Educator. It'll take you to that information. If you click on this, notice here, these are two different things. Adobe Education Exchange. This one's National Geographic. Let's click on the Nat Geo for now. It'll take you to free courses where Adobe and, well, there's a whole bunch, but in particular, Adobe and National Geographic have teamed up and they give you certificates for this. Photography, video, audio, and graphics. The audio is all about podcasting. Graphics is all about creating infographics. The video obviously is video, and photography is photography, right? So I encourage you to do them. And if you like ed tech badges, why not think about becoming an Adobe Creative Educator? Follow this link. If you get down to level 2, you're going to get some cool swag, but more importantly, you're going to build your skills and meet some really cool people from all over the world. So have a look at those links and think about becoming an Adobe Creative Educator. And of course, you can keep in touch with me, YouTube, Twitter, my website, and all that. This is what it looks like. Now, let me pull up for you the certificate link because we do want you to get your certificate, people, all right? Let me just go, let me copy this. Let me get that back in here. All right, I'm going to stop sharing my screen. Nick, it is a wonderful resource. And yes, Rio, as a presentation, you can definitely use Adobe Creative Cloud Express, right? It's pretty cool. So yeah, your limitation is your imagination. That's it, right? So really think about how can I use this kind of thing. Now, I've posted in the chat form. If you fill out that form, you will have a certificate of participation and attendance emailed to you directly. We won't do anything with your email. So I might see in a couple hours, I'm going to go through some Google Geo tools, just an overview kind of thing, probably be a little bit shorter than this 1 hour. But there's a whole pile of cool other stuff going on. In fact, so cool, I think I'm going to share the link with you just one more time. All right. So feel free to check out the other sessions. And thanks a lot for joining me. We're going to end the broadcast right here. It's great to see you folks near and far. You know, we've got India, we've got Malaysia, we've got Japan, 2 of us from Canada, by the way, which is kind of cool. So thanks for joining, everybody. Enjoy the rest of the conference.